When I was younger, I used to shyly introduce myself as someone who wrote stories. And until I read You Are a Writer by Jeff Goins, I didn't make the permanent switch to saying I'm a writer. And the difference between being someone who writes and being a writer is that one is something you do and the other is who you are. Jeff Goins' You Are a Writer focuses on the identity shift that separates hobbyists from serious writers. The book argues that until you see yourself as a writer, writing will always be secondary to everything else in your life. Here are 3 key takeaways from the book. The first is the irrefutable truth that you can't call yourself a writer if you don't write. That sounds obvious, but Goins talks about how many people want the identity without actually putting in the work to back it up. Second, you need to make your life reflect who you want to be. You can say you have priorities, but if you're not enacting them or doing your best to, then you're just saying empty words. This means, at least for your writing identity, that you need to make time for writing, make contingencies, and optimize your schedule around your identity as a writer. In our previous videos in this series, we talked about how grabbing that time can be as little as 15 minutes and how important it is to work around the schedule you have. But this emphasizes that if you can change something, you should. And the third is that by integrating being a writer into your identity, it makes choices about whether or not you should write on a given day much easier. Because again, if you're not writing, you're not really a writer. Now, I don't think this is 100% true. The idea that you need to write every single day in order to count yourself as a writer is really harsh and really unrealistic in our current world where there is so much to do, so many distractions, and also so many commitments that we need to have just to survive. But this identity shift and commitment to writing is stronger than pure motivation because the underlying foundation of this entire book is that seeing yourself as a writer is different than being someone who writes because it is important to you as a person versus someone who writes when it's convenient. Try introducing yourself as a writer this week, not as someone who writes. And notice how that feels internally and how it starts affecting your choices when it comes to prioritizing or not prioritizing writing. When you see yourself as a writer first, what are you doing differently about your daily routines and your priorities in general? If any of this video resonated with you, or you want to see our previous videos in this series, please check out the playlist here and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos from us. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about planning your goals in 12-week cycles instead of 12 months and how this approach aligns with the publishing industry. And if you want to dive deeper into the habit building strategies that support this identity shift, make sure you watch our previous video in our writing routines playlist, which is right here.